Hello and welcome to TurnBuckle TeaTalk. You're joined by me, John Dugan, and the Red Panda himself, Kieran Kipper. Happy new haircut.
Yes, it was getting a bit of a mess and I had a duck's tail sticking up and it was getting quite long, so I just thought, shave it off. It's a bit shorter than I thought, but yeah, I look like I got peed.
See, I always used to have my hair like that. I used to love just shaving my head. I always felt like quite fresh.
No, I see. I always like to have a bit of a quiff, you know, a bit of something.
Yeah, I remember you had a man bun at one point.
Yes, years ago before it was trendy. I started it years ago.
Okay. So anyone new joining us, this is something a bit different from the podcast where me and Kieran just have a chat over a cup of tea. So if you haven't got a cup of tea, go make one and come back and join us. As I still haven't got a name for him. As usual, I've got my Woo cup of tea.
I think it should be called Owl Schwarzenegger.
What a wrestling name, though, Kieran. I know he's a Hall of Famer, but
He is a Hall of Famer. Well, it's hard to get an owl-related wrestling name.
Yeah, so if anyone sends one in, you'll probably win. You won't win anything, you'll just have the knowledge that you've named my cup of my pot of tea.
But as John was saying, yeah, pause it, get a tea, get coffee, get a hot chocolate, you know.
Coffee.
Yeah, get
iced coffee.
Yeah.
Irish coffee.
Mappa hot cappuccino.
Yeah. I'll have two, please. What's your favourite type of coffee?
I don't like coffee. I love the smell. I love the smell of coffee, but the taste is just, especially being a bartender, I've tried to like wean myself onto like, you know, weaker coffees and, you know, because obviously, you know, keeps you up and, you know, gives you caffeine, but disgusting.
No, I think you've got to acquire the taste.
Like I said, the smell is beautiful.
I quite like a coffee.
My favourite is, I love an Earl Grey, I'm not going to lie.
It's too perfumey for me. It's got to be Yorkshire tea all day.
No, I like PG. And as I said in the first episode of TeaTalk, do you remember what PG stands for?
Pre-guest, wasn't it?
Pre-guest.
Maybe we should do like one tea fact a week as well. If you can think of any more.
Well, I know the most drank drink, is that right, is tea in the whole world. Mainly because of, you know, the Brits and China is a massive, they're all tea drinkers. It's like really interesting there.
India as well, isn't
it? Yeah.
It's not that popular in America though, which is weird, isn't it? They don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Well, I went to America, right? I went to IHOP, International House of Pancakes, which I've never been to IHOP before, and it was beautiful. IHOP is amazing. And the woman came up and said, "Oh, you know, what can I get for you?" And I asked, because it was early in the morning, I asked for a cup of tea. And she looked at me like, well, you're definitely British. Like, she looked at me like, you know, like it was just an odd thing to request.
I don't know if this is why, but I think the reason it might not be popular is when like America was first starting, it was obviously like run by the British. They put a massive tax on tea.
Did they?
So yeah, so I think they sort of went, well, we won't drink tea then. We'll have
fun
coffee.
and educational.
Okay,
yeah. I mean,
talking of education, what lessons have you done this week?
Oh God, don't. So with my daughter, we've done this one where, because I'm doing home learning with her. So you have like a whole number, like 7, and you have to figure out what 2 numbers add to 7, and all the different variations that add to 7, and it was just a bit hard. It was difficult because she didn't understand at first, and I was like, I'm not a teacher. I was like, how do I explain to her? I said, right, get your fingers out, and I was trying to do all these methods, and she just went over her head, and then I was getting impatient with her, and it was just a vicious circle.
It's quite hard, isn't it? Do they still watch like Look and Read? Do you remember that when you were in school?
I do. No, they watch. What's really good now is Number Blocks and Alpha Blocks.
Is Number Blocks the one where they're always like, see, because I work in an nursery, so is it Number Blocks where they're all sort of people have problems and it's because it's to do with a maths thing? Is that Number Blocks? It's a bit weird.
No, that is what's that?
What's that called?
Maths. I don't know. I know that it's because at the end they go. Where's it? The thing at the end. God, wait, what's going on now?
I don't think it's a British program. I think it's dubbed.
No, it's American.
Is it?
Oh, that's it. So at the end they go, we did the monster maths, the monster maths, the monster maths. No, Number Blocks is like these different blocks and all different numbers. One block is 1, 2 blocks are 2, and they solve these little equations. But the Alpha Blocks is really good. So there's the same blocks, but one is like U, one's T, and then so the episode I watched today is I and N got stuck in a big balloon and they couldn't get out. And then P came along and said, I can help. And then he goes, P went in front of the word in, and then it was P, N. Then it turned into a pin, and then it pops the balloon, and it's all about like the phonics of P, N.
Yeah.
And it's just, honestly, it grates on you.
See, it was like, I don't remember anything like that when I was at school. Like I said, it was Look and Read. What was your Look and Read when you did it? Mine was, we had 2. We had Badger Girl, or we had Through the Dragon's Eye.
I can't remember. Yeah. From what I remember, I had Biff Chips.
Oh yeah, we had all them.
Yeah, it's going back a while now, if I'm honest.
Well, that's not bad then. So you're learning as well.
Yeah, we're all learning.
So one thing we talked about last week was the Masked Singer. Now, this Saturday is the final.
Yes.
So should we do like predictions? Should we say who we think they are and who we think would win?
From the beginning, you know, Robin.
Yeah.
Molly, my missus, said from day one, well, maybe not day one, but maybe like the second week, that it was the guy from JLS. And now it's starting to come into light that maybe it isn't, and she said from day one it was him. So that's where I think Robin is. Badger, I have no idea.
Did you know Dragon? Sorry, to go on last week's, did you know that was Dragon? I had no idea. I was like shocked.
Dragon was was it Gabriella?
No, it was Sue Perkins.
Oh yes, no, that was such a shock. Like I would never.
Well, see, I think if you look online, you can find out proper clues. But I'm doing that. I want to just see who it is when they're revealed, and that was one I had no idea. I thought it was going to be. It
was total shock.
Yeah, I've never.
Well, we definitely thought it was someone in the gay community, just because of the clues, and then they had the rainbow sort of like flag on the dragon chest. But no, I would never have guessed it was her.
Do you know who Sue Perkins is seeing? I don't know if you still are.
One of my ultimate crushes.
From Naked Attraction.
Yeah. Before that, she did like all the Channel 4 programs, all the Channel 4 health programs.
Yeah. I think she does from time to time. I can't think of her name.
So her and Kim Marsh. She's left Corrie now, unfortunately. But yeah.
So anyway, going back to it.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, retracted there.
Yeah, I knew it was Gabrielle from day one, I think. You could just tell with that voice.
Did you know about her condition?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was wondering why she had her hair over her eye, but she has.
Yeah, she used to wear an eye patch. She's got a lazy eye, hasn't she?
Yeah, I only found out.
I think it's probably it's quite a severe one, isn't it? But yeah, I always knew that.
Russell Howard has a lazy eye.
Mm.
Just,
wrong. What's he called? Romish Wronganation.
Oh yeah.
He has as well.
Does he?
Can't tell with him because he wears glasses, but yeah.
Huh. But now sausage. I said it was Sheridan Smith from like day one, but then she appeared on a program about musicals, like a live performance for musicals, and it's not. I don't think it's Sheridan Smith. I'm
still going on. I know Blackpool's a clue, but when you hear them talk, all I can picture is Stacey Solomon. I can't think. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. And I know in the opening song they sang that "They Call Me Stacey," and she sang that line. I don't know. I thought it was Jodie Prenger. Jodie Prenger is a music theatre. You know, she's from Blackpool.
Yeah, she won I'll Do Anything, like a talent show, didn't she?
Yeah. But I don't know. That's the one that's really baffling me.
I think it's. I just don't get the Blackpool reference. That's the only thing.
But the thing is, though, Blackpool's in it every week.
I'm still going to say Stacey Solomon.
I don't think it is.
No, the Badger of.
No idea. Now people say Neo, and I think it is. I think it is One Black. That's just like because they have that kind of soulful voice. Yeah, they have that soulful voice.
Well, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works, but I think it's wrong. But it could be. I was thinking like Harry Styles.
No.
Because he has got that kind of soulful voice when he sings, and I think it's something he would randomly do.
Yeah, I get your logic, but I don't see it.
And didn't he say he'd been a star since he was a kid? I'm sure that's what Badger said. Or was that Robin? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Badger's one I really don't know. I'm just throwing Harry Styles in there just to be like, why not?
But the thing is, though, what an amazing concept is The Masked Singer.
And they're bringing. I spoke about it last week. They're bringing the Masked Dancer to Britain as well.
See, now that baffles me because a voice you can kind of, gauge, especially when they're talking and they're singing. With a dancer, like anyone can learn a dance. You know what I mean? A dancing.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? But it's going to be like, yeah, you're just not going to know, are you?
Because we're doing mediocre. We're doing quite well on our podcast. I reckon we'll get a call. The Masked Dancer.
What would you want to dress up as? Because they have the most
something
costumes
bizarre.
are amazing. Costumes are amazing, aren't they?
I'd want to be like a massive peacock or something.
There was a peacock on the American one.
Was there?
It was Donny Osmond.
Oh yeah.
He was really good actually. So what would I be? Radiator.
What?
something proper random, like a radiator.
No, you'd be like
a jug.
I'm trying to think of an animal that predominantly lives in Scotland.
Just be my teapot. Well, the national animal of Scotland is a unicorn.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
What do you mean why? Because it is.
So the national animal for Scotland is a peacock?
No, as a unicorn.
Oh, unicorn, sorry.
Yeah. Look on your. Have you not got your passport handy?
No.
Yeah, if you look on the front of your passport, there's a unicorn on it.
So why is unicorn associated with Scotland?
Because that's where they used to live.
John, unicorns aren't real.
I have no idea why. It's like a mythical creature, isn't it? I mean, Wales has got. Wales has got a dragon. What's wrong with you?
No, but right, if you can have a creature that's not real or a myth, why not have Loch Ness? Why
you got to
unicorn?
remember, it's only recently that unicorns are sort of for like kids. Unicorn used to be a badass like animal.
I don't think they've ever been badass.
I wouldn't mess with one, would you?
Yeah, but I would mess with, a 10-foot guy, who's built, really, that's still in my front room. Do you know why? Because it doesn't exist. Bizarre. How weird. Scotland is such a weird place. It never seems to surprise me.
Well, I mean, is it not weird that England's is a lion? Lions have never lived in England.
No, but I understand it's about, the pride, of a lion. I get that. Right? What's Scotland and unicorn? Oh, it's because we look different and we sound different. Let's have, Scotland unicorn. Maybe
we're magical.
Okay.
Have you watched anything good this week? Apart from
what have I been watching? No, I've been watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But no, nothing really.
The Vampire Slayer. I used to love Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I watched, because we talked about it last week, was Back to the Future trilogy.
Yeah, great trilogy. And
so
you know what? There's not many films that have a great trilogy. There's always one that lets it down, but with Back to the Future, I feel like they're all really good.
It's so clever though. Like from the outset, it's pretty clever. The things that they change, that he changes. You know, like the 2 Pines mall changing to the.
Yeah, it's so like I said, it's that small detail that kind of just brings it all together.
Yeah. I watched a good film on Amazon. It's called Greenland. Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
So it's Gerard Butler.
Mm-hmm.
He's in it. So basically, what happens in it is there's like asteroids are hitting the Earth. It's a disaster film, but it's actually not a cheesy one. It's quite realistic.
Okay.
And he's basically trying to get to a safe haven. It's quite good. There's some twists and turns in it.
I'll tell you what I actually did watch the other night. It was what's the title? It's like When Holidays Go Wrong. I think that was the title of it. And it's a new series, so it's in 2020. And there's this couple, and they're on the honeymoon, and they spent a large amount of money on this honeymoon, and they're in Egypt. And because of the coronavirus, the plane gets cancelled, to go home. So they're stranded in Egypt. So they're ringing, trying to get home. But then the hotel shuts down, so they had to leave the hotel. And they're stranded in Egypt, and it just sounded horrendous.
I remember, do you remember when there was the ash cloud?
Yeah.
So I was in Spain working when that happened. And there was family stuck there for a month.
Mad,
luckily, hotels put them up because obviously nobody was coming in. But yeah, we were pretty stranded on this island. But it's mad, yeah. Strange what can happen, isn't it? And change.
Well, I was saying this to my missus, is think of the coronavirus, right? And it's been devastating for people, for businesses, just for everyone, right? And it all really happened because of one incident. Well, I mean, I don't know what you believe, but with the bats and the China, whatever caused it, whatever happened, wherever it was in the world, that one incident spread like wildfire, and now like it's just changed the whole world. And there's not many stuff that's happened that's changed the whole world.
No,
like,
I mean, yeah.
I mean, you think of like big stuff that's happened, like the World War has changed pretty much the whole world, you know, because all the countries got involved. Like the terrorist attack at 9/11.
I was going to say Twin Towers changed everything, didn't it?
But there's not that many things because some things just happen and changes a few countries or, you know, just where you live. But like I said, this has just changed the whole world forever.
Yeah, like, because every country is affected. I don't think there's one country that hasn't got it. So yeah, it's one where we've all got the same experience as well, because every country's gone into some sort of lockdown at some point. So we've all had that.
I feel so bad on like
that.
The businesses that I've seen working in hospitality have, you know, shut down. They've lost lots of money. People have lost jobs. The amount of gigs that are meant to be on, people touring. I mean, not just like famous people, but like, you know, people just, you know, like average people trying to, you know, do a few gigs here and there. Glastonbury's been cancelled twice.
Everything's cancelled till next year, pretty much, isn't it? It's crazy. It's just, I can't believe how we've got so used to how it is. Because like when it first started, you were kind of thinking, this will blow over.
I know.
You won't get it. It won't come over here. Then it got here, and I'm like, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in a little, like, obviously I don't live in Blackpool now. I'm in a little town, Northwich, and we were like, it won't come here. And it's like, it's here.
But the thing is as well, in the summer last year, it was all right because, and I say it was all right, but you know what I mean? The sun was out, you know, people had a few, you know, a bit of time off work. It seemed quite nice, I suppose, at that time. Little did we know, because we thought, it'll pass in a few months. Little did we know, it's almost been a year of these restrictions.
We thought it was going to disappear in the winter, didn't we? That's what we got told.
So we just kind of enjoyed it for what it was. Like, you know what I mean? We need to be safe, but we, you know, at least we're not working and we're in the sun. And it's just hindsight. It was just bad.
It's crazy. I just think it's mad, like the conspiracy theories you hear about it.
I love conspiracy theories. I love them.
I know, but this one, it just baffles me because I've had it. I had it at the start of it. I had it the day before lockdown started. So like nearly a year ago. So I've had it, and I'm like, well, if I didn't have it, what did I have? Because it's definitely a thing that exists. Because I mean, I was asleep for 2 weeks. It's horrendous. But yeah, I like a conspiracy theory, but like I just don't understand this one. Like they're saying, the government's trying to control you by making you wear a mask in a shop, and I'm just like, right, what are they getting out of that?
Yeah, well, a lot of people think that this vaccine is something else.
As well, they say with lockdown, they're trying to control you. Why would the government want all businesses to stop making money and having to pay tax?
Well, yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
The government, especially the British government, I can't say about any other ones, but the British government you know, they're paying furlough, they're paying all these, you know, these grants. The government are spending so much money, you know, paying out for. We're going to be in debt for forever.
Yeah. I mean, the vaccine things baffles me as well. I don't get what people think.
It's completely up to you what you do. But if a vaccine came my way, or my missus or my daughter's way, or, you know, whatever, my family, I would get it. You know what I mean? I would.
Yeah. Vaccines work. There's a million diseases we could be having if it wasn't for vaccines. Another conspiracy theory so we've had the interview with Leah this week, and we sort of touched on it, which is available to watch. Go and watch it. It was a pretty good interview. We touched on it, but we didn't really go into detail. And it's the flat Earth theory. What's your thoughts on that?
honestly, it baffles me that AJ Styles, a big WWE star, thinks the world is flat. I did not know that, and this is a fact that you knew about. You know, it's a common fact.
Yeah, I remember it got brought up on. Daniel Bryan brought it up to him on Talking Smack once.
Talking Smack, yeah.
And I was just like, and AJ Styles defends it. He goes, "Well, I just think it's an interesting theory." But I don't. Have you ever watched a documentary on it on Netflix?
No, I mean I've seen a few ones with Brian Cox.
Mm. So there's one on Netflix, and it's like it's a parody of a documentary because it's all these people that believe it, and they do experiments to prove that the world's flat. But all the experiments end up doing is to prove that it isn't flat; it's actually curved.
Right. Well,
so they kind of shoot themselves in the foot with that. I don't understand what I'm meant to do with the information. If the world's flat, it's flat. And what? It doesn't make any difference to me.
One of my first ever memories of geography was, it was an explorer who went on a boat and he didn't want to go too far in case he fell off the end.
Fell off the end of the earth, yeah.
Yeah. And, but then, you know.
Wasn't it? Christopher Columbus that's how he discovered America.
I think so. I didn't want to say in case it wasn't him.
No, from what I remember getting taught, he was like, right, I'm going to explore the world. I don't think I'll fall off the edge of those, see how far I get. And he discovered them. I mean, it's probably more detailed than that, but that's basically what happened.
But the thing is, I believe in science. I mean, science has, you know, evidence for everything, or most things at least. And especially like when, you know, the spacecrafts go up, NASA go up to space, you can see the globe.
They say that NASA's lying to us, and they've just invented this theory of space to make money off of us. Like,
who's giving money to NASA? I'm not giving money to NASA.
They get paid off the government, don't they? But the American government, it's not ours. This just baffles me.
And I love that. I do believe there are aliens. I don't think they're green and have 4 eyes. I think they're kind of like, you know, little tiny animals that like we were when we were, you know, millions of years ago.
There's got to be some sort of life, but it was on the news this week. Scientists have came out and went, we think aliens haven't visited Earth because human beings are too stupid. So they think that because we don't actually do anything with our lives, it's just like we just generally live and don't try and advance too much, the aliens have probably looked at us and went, nah, it's not worth bothering with them.
Have the aliens been watching Geordie Shore? No, we're not going there. Who's this GC? Well, I'll tell you now, if there's any aliens watching this, that's a lie, because humankind have made the TV. We've made the lighter. The lighter got voted one of the best inventions ever.
Do you know lighter was invented before matches?
I did not know that, no.
Mm.
You know, we invented the Segway. Do you know
about the inventor of the Segway?
Yeah, so he was testing out a new version of Segway, and he was controlling it, and he was on a cliff, and as he pushed forward, it flipped him, and he died to his death. He fell to his death, sorry. Yeah.
That's like an ironic way to die, by your own invention. And
But yeah, I do think there are some kind of life form, but...
What's your favourite conspiracy theory?
Oh God, I don't know. There's so many that I really like. I like the John F.K. one. So there's one about the invisible bullet, and there's 2 shooters that I like. I've watched a lot of stuff from that. There's a really good one I watched recently about Titanic, and how there was
it's not that. Well, funny enough, it's just weird what comes up. I reckon It's not a conspiracy theory. I think your phone listens to conversations you have or things that you watch. And so I seen a conspiracy theory this week that the Titanic wasn't the boat that sank. Have you heard this theory?
No, I don't think, no.
So the company that owned Titanic, I mean, I'm going to be a bit sketchy in the details, but there was this other boat which already had a hole in it. And they just switched the name. So they put Titanic on this boat that was knackered because they wanted it to sink for insurance purposes. And they reckon the reason for this was for obviously the money, but then there was a lot of passengers that didn't actually go on the Titanic that were meant to because they knew about it. And when you see the Titanic's wreckage, it had an M in its name, whatever it was that sank. There's actually an M on the Titanic, like burial ship thing. Yeah, it's an interesting theory.
Yeah, I don't believe it, but...
What about the moon landing?
See, now, my missus, like, if she sees something or something happens to the house, right, not something like flies across the room or whatever, I always say there's an explanation for everything. We live in a weird world where, like, sometimes we can't control gravity or, you know what I mean? There's a reason for every little thing. So this moon landing, people say that the flag can't, you know, wave about because there's no, you know, there's no oxygen. But there's gonna be a reason for everything. Like, surely there's a reason for every little thing. I think they did land.
The thing with these, a lot of conspiracy theories fall down once you are like question something. But the moon landing is pretty. It's a bit here and there. There's a good reason for why they would fake it, but it's like, I mean, it baffles me why we haven't been now. Why aren't we going now?
Realistically, would you spend all that money, all that time and effort just to fake the moon landing? Maybe you would. I don't know, but it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's the 9/11 one baffles me as well. I never understand, like, why.
Yeah, because a lot of people think it's explosives. People think it's George W. Bush.
Yeah, they reckon he did it so that he could go to war. Which is happens in a season of 24.
I love Jack Bauer.
We've started watching it again.
There's a lot of series, isn't there?
We're on season 3, but on season 2, they do a terrorist attack on purpose so that they can go to war with 3 innocent countries that have got oil. Which is what they say why now 9/11 happened.
Right.
I don't know.
I suppose one of my favourite theories, and this is brilliant, is the theories that, like, Elvis is still alive, Tupac is still alive, and they all live in this, like, remote island, living up. Jesus.
Well, I remember, like I've said this before, but when I was in, like, high school, internet was just kind of working where you could actually use it to do what, like, important stuff. And I always remember just looking up all the theories about Tupac being alive. And what date he was coming back. He's had about 5-6 different dates that he's coming back, but he's still not here.
And every year you always get, you know, there's something plummeting to Earth. Tomorrow there'll be no tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's just.
Well, no one predicted this that's happening now, did they? Really?
Do you know, one of my favourite stories ever is, I watched a documentary about this, quite a few, about War of the Worlds, the TV, the radio show. So there's a really, like, popular show on another radio station, and that finished. So people just tuned in, you know, just tuned to what was on the other stations. And as people finished that one, they tuned in halfway through to the War of the Worlds. And also, it's like a play, they're reading like a play out loud. And it's quite graphic, you know, the way they're describing it. And people thought it was a real, you know, thing. So like, I think 4 people died. One person committed suicide. Someone got ran over because they ran into the street. And the BBC had to apologise, saying, "Look, it was just a radio play," and yeah, it's just bizarre. Like, imagine,
Crazy,
like,
isn't it?
you know, I think was it 60s or something, like 1960s.
Yeah.
You turn to the radio and there's this alien attack.
So it's interesting, isn't it, where people believe what they see and stuff. Like, I know we're not meant to talk about wrestling on this, but we always end up doing it. But there's times with wrestling people believe what they're seeing. Like the famous one is, do you remember with the Gun, Stone Cold and
Yes,
Brian Pillman?
Yeah. I've read about this. Yeah.
So there's a segment on it where Stone Cold's gone round to Brian Pillman's house and Brian Pillman's injured and he points a gun at Steve and he shoots the gun and then the screen goes black. So like, but thousands of people rang the police up because they thought it was like, but then it was when people were sort of thinking wrestling's like 100% legit, you know.
It's even like, even on Facebook, people go, "Oh, you'll never guess what? This happened." No, it didn't.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, all right, yeah. Like, but another wrestling one is, I've told you about this, but so when Vince McMahon was trying to kill off his character,
the explosion.
Donald Trump, ex-president, phoned up to see if he was all right because he seen that his limousine exploded. Which baffles me because he's been a part of wrestling. Did they not tell him what goes on? Which is probably why he didn't really take a good stunner.
Yeah, his stunner was awful.
He probably took a stunner and thought, you know what, I'm all right. That did not that much. But yeah, you're getting it soaps, aren't you? Do you remember the Free the Willowfield one when Deirdre was in prison and everyone was kicking off about it?
People always kick off with soaps, don't they?
Yeah. It's what happens, isn't it?
Like, a good one is, well, a funny one, should I say, is a famous person, for example, I don't know, someone who died 6 years ago. It comes up on Facebook, they've just died today. People go, "Oh my God, he's just died." I went, "No, he died like 6 years ago."
Yeah, stuff like that happens all the time, doesn't it?
It must be so easy to fake your own death. People just probably believe it, aren't you?
Well, is it Neil Buchanan from Art Attack? His death pretty much gets announced every year for some reason.
Yeah.
People keep just doing hoaxes where they say he's died.
Bizarre, isn't it? It's a bizarre little world we live in.
Facebook's just full of misinformation, isn't it? I never believe anything I see on Facebook. So
I mean, Facebook does have some good information. For example, you know, we've got a few good interviews coming up.
Yeah.
We've got a professional boxer who's, you know, hung up his boxing gloves, now going into wrestling, RP Davis.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, just throwing that there. A little plug.
Plugging on your own time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a viral thing in WWE. Which,
oh my God. My hole.
It's really random, isn't it? I just don't.
Like,
I mean, it's gone viral with people that don't even watch wrestling.
There's a lot of movie posters of Nia Jax. Like, you know, the Disney film Holes.
Yeah.
With Shia LaBeouf. She's in that. It doesn't look that painful, but the way she screams, it must be painful.
Yeah, it looked like she landed flat. I didn't understand it.
But it must be like riding a coccyx or something. But to shout "my hole," that is pretty dramatic. It must really hurt.
Yeah.
In the highlight show of Raw, they cut it out.
They're there.
Yeah.
That's weird.
No.
Well, so who do you think is going to win the Masked Singer before we go? I think maybe sausage.
Sausage. Doing it
And
for Blackpool.
Who do you think sausage is?
Honestly, I haven't got the foggiest, but I think what I said from the beginning was Jodie Prenger, and I'm gonna stick with my guns.
I'm gonna go with Stacey Solomon.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
We'll see.
Why Blackpool though with Stacey Solomon?
There'll be something. There'll be some reason.
I don't know. I disagree.
All right. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Have a look at our other videos. There's a couple more of these. We've got a few interviews, including our latest one with Leah Elise, which gives you an insight into British wrestling as a female.
Yeah, so it's really good interview.
And we've got a couple of good interviews coming up as well.
Yeah, so we've got Radzi, which is he did Blue Peter. He's done Pointless, Dancing on Ice, Ninja Warrior, you name it, he's done it. He's also an NXT UK reporter. He's going to be fantastic. Then we've got the RP Davis, who's the pro boxer turned to wrestler. So yeah,
it's interesting as well. I think I've said it in the Leah interview. Every wrestler has their own story, so it's always interesting to see how they got into it. I think it'll be really good. Yeah.
You've updated our YouTube channel, so there should be a little button. Is it in this corner?
That way. Yeah. I can't point it because I'm up down here.
Yeah, so there's a little button just with the TTP logo. Click that, give us a subscribe, give us a like, give us a comment, say hello, don't be a stranger, and thank you for watching. John?
Yeah, what he said. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions or anything you want us to talk about, send them in, comment on this video, and we'll bring them up. See you next time.
See ya.